There's more news coming in from the national capital, and like Meher was pointing out, the city added 4,099 new COVID cases on Monday, with positivity rate jumping to 6.46% in just 24 hours. And earlier, Satyendra Jain, who's the Delhi Health Minister, had said that cases are rising quite quickly. Now, today is important also because a very important disaster management, Delhi Disaster Management Authority meeting has been called. This is to review the COVID situation in the capital. Remember, the last meeting, they had talked about, in fact, Delhi has a graded response action plan. If the positivity goes beyond a certain percentage, then there are different alerts that are put into place. These different alerts come with different set of rules and restrictions. Remember, in the last meeting on the 29th of December, they had decided that COVID-related restrictions imposed will be under the yellow alert and would continue to view in terms of lower number of hospitalizations as well. Post that, Arvind Kejriwal held a press conference and he talked about how they will review the issues once and they will start worrying once the hospitalization numbers actually go up. Let's go back to Meher on this story as well. But before that, let's tell you what the health minister actually said.
देखिएगा, मैं 2 दिन का जो लास्ट 2 डेज का बता सकता हूँ, उनमें 84% जो पेशेंट थे वो ओमिक्रॉन के थे। 84%। अगर पूरे महीने का निकालते हैं तो फिर वो कम हो जाता है, पूरे महीने की जरूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि ट्रेंड ये आ रहा है कि अब जो केसेस आ रहे हैं वो ज्यादातर ओमिक्रॉन के हैं। तो अभी के समय में हम कह सकते हैं जी 84 केस ओमिक्रॉन। जी 84% जो पेशेंट जो निकले वो ओमिक्रॉन के निकले।
All right. So the health minister very clearly, Meher, saying that the number of Omicron cases are quite high. But just looking at the strategy as of this moment of how we are dealing with Omicron, very different from Delta, of course. We are a different group of people vaccinated now, seropositivity also there. So the thinking of the government seems to be that fresh curves could come in only once the hospitalization goes up.
Yes, Sonal. So remember, the last DDMA meeting led to the strict curbs that we have now. Delhi went into yellow alert because positivity had been over 0.5% for 2 days straight. Now Delhi's positivity is touching over 6%. So it's increased very dramatically since the last meeting. But we also see a certain change in how the government is approaching the strategy now. Last time there were very strict restrictions. A night curfew was put in starting 10 p.m. and ending at 5 a.m. And markets were closed as well, many of them. So that seems to be changing now because hospitalization hasn't really increased by much. At least many of the patients right now are asymptomatic in isolation, home isolation as well as institutional isolation. There are, of course, some patients who are in ICU, but relatively this is less. So we will have to wait for the meeting to see what the strategy will be, but there seems to be some reconsideration. Lockdown will be a very serious thing. I'm not sure if they will enter that yet, but it is important to remember that positivity has gone up dramatically, and 0.5% positivity led to these very strict restrictions that we have now. So we can't rule out any more serious restrictions yet.